So how did this all start? Let's have a look and we'll go through the initial investigation. So I noticed on the Apache access logs that someone was actually reading individual source code files from the Git repository on the server. My SendGrid email account had been used to send junk email, which meant that someone had the API keys. Looking at the permission structure, the file system, each individual web application had its Git repository or archive in the same directory as the application programs, and also any dynamic data files like uploads or logs were also in the same directory, which meant the permissions were not secured, which meant that anyone could access basically anything, read the log files, read the env files, get the environment variables off env, read the program files off Git, and also the SSH was potentially exposed to direct access. The problems discovered were, right, now I worked with ChatGPT to analyze the problems, find logs, give it screenshots of everything that I encountered, and we worked together for quite a long time to fix everything really well, really secure. The Git repositories were living inside the production web source code root directory and had read access by Apache. So anyone who knew the Git directory structure would be able to just go through the whole directory structure and read everything that's in there. The API secrets were originally in .env, but when I saw that someone was reading .env file, I moved them into Apache config as environment variables. That in itself also did not solve the problem. There was potential for exposure to SSH access. The actual source code deployment model was weak in as much as updates were going directly into production and there was no rollback capability except by going to GitHub itself and then rolling back to a previous version and then implementing that. That's not a strong deployment model. The Git repos were living inside the web roots, which we've just discussed. No deployment isolation, so there's no separation of the deployment process and the deployment user accounts from the Apache user account. And so, it was everything was basically accessible via Apache, which meant that bots just calling, just making URL calls, going, trying everything, could eventually read very compromising information. So we rebuilt the server. Now there's still some bot probing, but after a major reconfiguration of Apache, that has been reduced massively, and also now everything that is not valid just gets returned a 404 not found error. So these are all access attempts by bots. So it's just sending these URLs. So it'll be Royal Pet Portrait /WP-admin. This one here, anything that says WP-admin or anything that starts with WP, that's the bots trying to find weaknesses in WordPress applications. Mine's not a WordPress application, so that's not going to return anything anyway, but that shows that there's an assumption amongst hackers that a WordPress application is going to have inherent weaknesses, vulnerabilities in it, which I have found in the past, and so I don't recommend anyone use WordPress to build an application. CGI bin, same sort of thing. It's looking for standard sort of configurations that may hold weaknesses. So I don't use any of these things. API Stripe webhook. Yeah, whatever. Order status, API order status. Oh, okay, these are actually real tests. 11th of May. Oh, that was actually probably me. Yeah, so that was probably me testing. So these ones are all me testing. These ones are all the bots. So if we go further down, okay, here we go. These are all bots trying to find some applications that might have a vulnerability. WordPress, WP content plugins, HelloPress, file manager. Yeah, just all WordPress stuff. So here it's looking for .env files. Here it's looking for .git files. So it's looking for standard sort of installation configurations. I don't have any of those things, but it just shows these are the sorts of things that the hackers have come across. So, and they just pile everything in. That one there is concerning because on my PC, I have done coding and do a little bit of fixing up using a text editor if I just want to make a simple change to a file, and it creates a backup copy of that file called a .back, which could contain, like for example, if you put in something, if you hard code, say, a password or an API key just to test a program, and then you delete it, it could still be in the .back file, and then it gets uploaded with GitHub if you haven't configured your .gitignore file to ignore it, which again was one of the things that I had to implement. So ignore .back files and indeed delete all .back files. And it's also but these are just random, so it's just looking for anything like .back, .old, .save, YAML. I don't use YAML. There, Amazon Web Services. I don't use Amazon Web Services. But if we go down, so it's just looking for everything, absolutely everything. Now if we quit out of that and just look at the back end, tail minus 100. Basically nothing is getting through. So that's how it is now. And these are all getting 400 errors, which means not found. So lots of things have been done to fix it up, and we'll go through each of those things. Basically, the GitHub was implemented wrong, the deployment model was wrong, Apache configuration was wrong, ownership model for all the various components was wrong, and the permissions were wrong, and also the SSH model was wrong. Okay, so we'll go through each of those. If you are interested in securing your website, I would encourage you to follow along, because exactly this could happen to you. And although in my case the only thing that happened was that they accessed my SendGrid account and managed to send out like 10 emails, 10 spam emails before it was caught by the SendGrid team and stopped. But it could have been my Stripe credit card account, credit card processing account. It could have been extremely damaging, and it could be extremely damaging to you if you are running a commercial website that accesses email and accesses payments processing, has a database. All of these things relate to you. Even if you're a business owner or a website owner, and you don't really want to get into the technical nitty-gritty or don't understand it, then at least if you follow along, you will have an understanding of the depth of complexity required to ensure a safe website environment. And this is something that if you want, I can do for you. I can help you do that, but otherwise just follow along, and you can get someone to secure your server for you. Okay, cool. Bye for now. Catch you in the next one.